Hello everyone. So let's look at the top 10 questions on cloud service models. So in the previous video we have discussed about the cloud service model in detail, and in this video we'll be discussing the top 10 questions on this topic, right? So question number 1, which of the following types of risk is most likely encountered in a software as a service environment? In software as a service environment. Option number A, non-compliance with software license agreement. Option number B, performance issues due to internet delivery method. Option number C, higher cost due to software licensing requirements. Option number D, higher cost due to the need to update to compatible hardware. Okay, now this is something which we have learned, especially in the software as a service environment, that the cost is actually less in case of the software as a service environment, or maybe in all the clouds. Why? Because we are not managing those resources. Those resources are being managed by third party vendor, right? They are responsible for managing, having timely patches, securing those resources, so we are not incurring as such any cost, right? They are spending, because let's say for example, if I want to host my application, and if I am looking for on premise data center, it's going to cost me a lot, right? But if I take software as a service agreement, right, if I go for this kind of agreement, so cost becomes lesser, right? So that's why in software as a service agreement, or I mean, in software as a service license, the SaaS license, we say we pay per use, pay per use model, where you only pay for the resources which you are using, which you are utilizing, right? If you need more resources, you will pay more. If you need less resources, you will pay less, right? So it's pay per use model, and actually the cost is lesser, right? uh, Option number C is talking about a higher cost. Option number D is also talking about higher cost. So cost normally will not be the option here. So higher cost, you can remove these options, straight away. But let's discuss, what is option number C saying. Higher cost due to the software licensing requirements. No, in fact your cost reduces, because you are only paying for the licenses which you need. So let's say for example, I want a Netflix subscription, so I like I just need for one user, right? So I'll just pay for one user, correct? So here for the software licensing requirement part, the cost is actually less, right? Option number D is talking about higher cost due to the need to update to compatible hardware. Okay, again, it doesn't matter if you are using maybe $50 smartphone, or you are using 1000 USD smartphone. Okay, if it's 50 USD smartphone, or if it's 1000 USD smartphone, normally these software as a service product, that is dependent on the internet, and it is compatible with almost all the hardware. So as such, you'll not be you'll not need to update to have a compatible hardware. Okay, you normally do not see the cases wherein they say, okay, you need to have this particular, yeah, sometimes they may have some kind of requirements, like you need to have this particular operating system, this much RAM, this much processor. Sometimes they might have requirements, but as such, they generally do not have a very stringent requirement. So option number D will also not come here. And in fact, you don't even need to look at these options. You can just look at the term higher cost, and you can just eliminate option number C and option number D straight away. right? So answer would be between option number A and option number B, right? So option number A here is saying non-compliance with the software license agreement. Non-compliance. It's very important to read the entire words. Like, here some people will read this as non-compliance with SLA, service level agreements. Okay, here they are not talking about the service level agreements or the SLA. Here they are talking about the software license agreement. Software license agreement. The keyword here is license agreement, right? And in fact, this is what this particular question is taken from the official QA, right? And if you read the justification, that is their logic as well, right? So here they are talking about software license agreement. I'll can give you example. Before the example, let's discuss uh, what we can understand when we say SLA, or SLA is service level agreement, and service license agreement, software license agreement, software license agreement, software license agreement, right? Mhm. Okay, so when we say uh, service level agreement, we are talking about the performance expectation. What kind of service you expect from the vendor, or what kind of service you expect from the organization, right? It talks about uptime, software uptime, availability. It talks about issue resolution time. In case if there is some issues, how much time normally it will take for the issue to get resolved, the issue resolution time, right? In case of any breaches, any kind of software credits which you can get, like any kind of incentive, something like in case some breach happens. So all these kind of things comes under this service level agreement. Basically, the name itself tells you service level agreement. What kind of service you expect, what level of service you are expecting, right? But here also, here the word software license, again, go with the words, go with the name, right? Software license agreement, right? So here what will come, uh, it grants customer, when we say license, it grants customer right to use. So when we say license, it means it grants customer right to use specific software under defined terms and conditions. Defined terms and conditions, right? For example, you can say a number of permitted users. Okay, you can say installation restrictions. You can say payment terms, etc. So here the focus is more into the license part, right? Regarding what, the right to use, under the defined terms and conditions for the right to use. What you can do, what you cannot do, right? So I'll just give you one short example. Okay, this is not a complete picture of the software license agreement. It can have more things, right? But just to give you one example, here you can see subscribe to watch all the content on the Sony Live app, right? So here you can see they are saying they have a different option for mobile only. So if you want to access only through the mobile, they have a different rates accordingly, different prices accordingly, right? Here you can use in your mobile app, or you can use your web browser, right? Then again, if you see here, they are saying number of logged in devices, right? How many devices can be logged in, right? Here it's one, here it's five, here it's five, right? Then here it's watch on devices at same time. Okay, Here it's one, here it's two. So even though it is giving you five devices, but at a time simultaneously only two people can watch at the same point of time, right? Here it's two, correct? Then advertisement part, uh, in case of sports. So basically this is just an example, right? So here we are talking about the software licensing agreement, right? So here option number A is talking about non-compliance with software license agreement. See, as such there will be no non-compliance with the software license agreement, because everything is on record, everything, right? You have a agreement, you have a contract, what all things you can expect, what all things you cannot expect, right? So as such option number A will not come. So the only option left is option number B, because here when it comes to the software license agreement, they will give you everything straightforward, right? What are the things what terms and conditions you can expect from this particular license. From when we say license, it's right to use a software, right? You're not owning it. License means you are not owning something, you have just the right to use. When I purchase some license, you do not own that, right? You just have, for a specific duration, you have the right to use those resources, correct? Option number B is performance issues due to internet delivery method. Performance issues due to internet delivery method, and this is the answer. This is the only option left, and this is the answer. And this is important also. Can you watch Netflix without internet? You require internet, right? Can you watch Amazon Prime Video without internet? No, no, right? Can you watch our lectures, the CISA lectures, without internet? See, we have offline method wherein in the mobile app you can download our lectures and you can watch those lectures offline. But for downloading also you require internet, right? So internet is required. So software as a service, here there is a need of having a good internet connection. So internet, that is the key essential for a SaaS product. Okay, so for the SaaS product to work, there is a dependency on the internet. That is something which you need to understand, right? You can take any example. You will need internet for sure. That's the prerequisite, correct? So sometimes, the question is most likely encountered, right? So here it's correct. Performance issues. If the internet speed is less, you may not be able to do your work uh, properly. You may have some difficulties, right? So that's the option of B is the answer. In case, even if you don't want to go in that route, in the exam, normally you should go in the reverse way. Try to remove the options which you feel will not be the correct option for sure. So higher cost will never come. So let's look at the next question. An organization has implemented an online customer help desk application using a software as a service operating model. An IS auditor is asked to recommend the best control to monitor the service level agreement with the SaaS vendor as it relates to the availability. So they have asked, whenever you read the question, just focus on the keywords. So the first keyword over here is, the question is talking about something on SaaS product, number one. Second thing, the question is talking about the best control. Second thing the question is talking about is the best control. SaaS product, best control to monitor the SLAs with the SaaS vendor, and for what? As it relates to the availability. So that's the main focus of this question. What is the best recommendation that the IS auditor can provide? Option number A, ask the SaaS vendor to provide a weekly report on application uptime. Option number A is saying you ask the vendor itself to provide you with the weekly report of the uptime of the application. Option number B is talking about implement an online polling tool to monitor the application and record outages. Option number C, log all the application outages reported by users and aggregate the outage time weekly. Option number D, con contract contract I think it's contact, yeah, contact an independent third party to provide weekly reports on application uptime. You can say contract also. Contract is also fine, like you can have get into an agreement or a contract with an independent third party to provide with the weekly reports on application uptime. Okay, before solving this question we will go to another question, similar question on the topic of DDoS, which we have discussed under domain number 5. This question was already discussed under domain number 5, and you know, you'll be surprised to know that this question of SaaS product, it is very similar to this question from domain number 5, which we discussed on the topic of DDoS attack. I'll discuss this question also first. On the basis of this logic, we will go to the previous one, right? Which of the following would best detect that a distributed denial of service DDoS attack is occurring? Option number A, customer service complaints. Option number B, automated monitoring of logs. Option number C, server crashes. Option number D, penetration testing. Okay, what do you think? What should be the right answer? This is something which we have already discussed in the past, but again we will discuss. The question is saying, you know, best way to detect a DDoS. Customer service complaint. Will you depend on the customer? Will you depend on the customer? Is this the right practice? Is this the best practice? Definitely no. So try to understand one thing. For example, my own website, csadismuch.com, right? What do you think? Should the students or should the person who is coming to enroll on my website, should they inform me? Like, should I be dependent? See, they can inform me. That's not a point here. We are not saying that the customer cannot raise a complaint. Mind this. Do not assume that I am saying that we will not listen to the customers' grievances and complaints. We are not talking about that. The customer has got all the rights to raise any issue or raise any complaint or raise any problem which they are currently facing. That is completely fine, right? What I'm saying is that, is this the best practice for me to depend on the student, that they are coming and they are telling me your website is always down, we are not able to access your website, we are not able to make the payment through the website, whatever things they are coming up with? Do you think that's the best practice? As an organization, should I be relying on someone to let me know about my weaknesses, to let me know about my vulnerabilities in the system? That's completely a wrong practice, correct? Here we are not at all saying that we will not take their what to say, we will not take their viewpoints. What I'm trying to say over here is that we will not be dependent as an organization. You cannot say, okay, I'm dependent on my customers, whatever they will say I'll react. It's a reactive approach. We always say there are two things. One is proactive approach, second thing is reactive approach. When you say reactive, means you are reacting to when your customer complains, you are reacting to that complaint. That's a bad approach. This doesn't mean that we will not react. Okay, this doesn't mean that we will not react, but solely depending on the reactive mechanism is wrong. Okay, one is the proactive approach. Before even the complaint comes, we should be ready from our end, right? So option number A is definitely not the correct option, right? Option number C, server crashes. Do you wait for the server to crash to know about this particular incident, the attack, DDoS attack? Definitely no. Again, it's a reactive approach. After the server has got crashed, we are reacting on that. Again, no. Pen testing is good, but understand one thing. First of all, pen testing is expensive, right? It's a costly thing. And secondly, you can do pen testing for a period. You cannot do that continuously, right? You cannot do pen testing continuously. 24 by 7. You cannot do that, right? So pen testing for sure it's good, but then you cannot rely solely on that. Okay, so the best option here is option number B, which is automated monitoring of logs. That's the best option over here for this question. Correct. Now, based on this question, we will try to solve the previous question, right? Again, the same question, similar question. Option number A is saying ask the SaaS vendor to provide a weekly report. Weekly report, okay? And again, you are depending on the SaaS vendor, okay? They may record few things, they may miss out few things, okay? And secondly, it's a weekly report, correct? Option number A will not be the answer, right? Because here we are dependent on them, right? And they may, okay, this is something which we have also discussed in domain one also, okay? But that was slightly different concept where I have discussed that auditor will try to gather the evidence himself. If he gets some evidence from himself, it's more reliable than what has got through the management, because management can manipulate. Similarly, the SaaS vendor can manipulate the reports, right? So again, option number A won't be the answer. Option number C, log all the application outages reported by the users and aggregate the outage time weekly. Again, this is a reactive approach, right? So here you are dependent on the users. What if the users do not report something? What about that? What if the users do not report something? Try to understand one thing. Do you really feel the user has got that much time to report each and everything? Think about your activity. You might be doing a lot of online shopping. Like, let's say for on a particular day, if some website is not getting opened, so what will you do? You'll go and report to their the organization. You will take that much initiative from your end? Definitely no, right? Okay. So similarly here also, the user may or may not report everything, right? So again, option number C cannot be the right option. Option number D, to have contract with the independent third party to provide weekly reports on application uptime. See, this is good option, but this will definitely come after option number B. I'll discuss option number B also. Option number B is saying implement an online polling tool to monitor the application and record outages. So you implement an online polling tool which will monitor the application, which is continuously monitoring the application. If your application has a downtime, it will automatically record that, right? So it's on a continuous basis, and it will also notify you. Let's say if any outage happens, it will immediately notify you. So that's the best control, right? Because immediately we are getting the notification and the monitoring is happening continuously, and we are not dependent on anyone. We are not even dependent on third party, right? So option number B is the correct option over here. Okay. And in the justification, they have also mentioned one point that having the independent third party is again expensive. It will add on the cost, right? And again, you are dependent on them. They may miss out few things, right? But here, automated controls, things are more reliable in case of having an online polling tool which will automatically monitor the application and automatically record the outages, and not only record, it will notify you on a timely basis, right? So that's why here option number B is the correct option, and here also automated monitoring of logs is the correct option. So you can see both the questions are so much similar, right? One is on the one is question on domain number 5, and one question is on this one, software as a service. Again, here software as a service is also from domain number 5, which is under the cloud service models. But I'm just trying to make you understand how you can yourself interlink a lot of questions. So what I'm trying to say over here is that this is the importance of having the right ISACA mindset. Okay, so whatever logic you applied in this question, the same logic got applied here as well, right? So this is the reason you must understand things conceptually, right? So let's move on to the next question. Which of the following should be a concern for an IS auditor reviewing an organization's cloud computing strategy, which is based on software as a service model with an external provider? Again, I'm reading the question once again. Try to break the question. Which of the following should be a concern for an IS auditor reviewing what? He's reviewing what? He's reviewing the organization's cloud computing strategy, which is based on the SaaS model. I'm sorry, with an external provider. Option number A, workstation upgrades must be performed. In fact, this is something which we have discussed previously also in, I think, in question number 1, right? You need not have, need not have the, like hardware compatibility is, not as such the prerequisite of using the SaaS product, right? So it is accessible through any most of the hardwares, right? So option number A, workstation upgrades must be performed. That option will not come over here. Option number B is long-term software acquisition costs are higher. In fact, it would be lower, right? So cost we have discussed, the cost would be in fact lower because pay per use model. We pay as per our usage. The more we use, the more we need to pay. The less we use, the less we need to pay. Option number C, contract with the provider does not include on-site technical support. It won't be needed because we are talking about the SaaS product, and in the SaaS we have already discussed each and everything would be managed. The resources would be managed, the security, everything would be managed by the vendor. So having the vendor need not give you the online technical, the on-site. Okay, here important, what is on-site? On-site is not applicable itself because the servers, the hardware, the machines, the resources, the assets are not on site. Okay, it's with the vendor is managing those, right? So option number C will also not come. So the only option left is option number D. Incident handling procedures with the provider are not well defined. So option number D is the correct option over here. Let's go to the next question. Which of the following is the most important security consideration to an organization that wants to move a business application to external cloud service provided by a vendor? Which of the following is the most important security consideration? So question is talking about what? Very important. Question is talking about security consideration to an organization that wants to move a business application to external cloud service provider. Okay, so they are having something on site and they are planning to move to the cloud. Option number A, classification and categories of data processed by the application. Important. Option number B, cost of hosting the application internally versus externally. Option number B is talking about the cost on site, like what to say, uh, on premise versus cost of having it on the cloud. So option of B is talking about the cost, but the question has clearly mentioned security consideration, right? So question is talking about the security consideration. Option number B is talking about the cost factor. So option number B will not come, right? So option number C, a reputation of a vendor on the market and the feedbacks from client, important, very important, right? It's important. Okay, let's see option number D as well. Drop of application performance due to the use of shared services. See, try to understand, when you are sharing the services, there may be drop in the application performance, but most of the times we have what, like, in the previous question also we have discussed about the SLAs, the service level agreement, what level of service we're expecting, right? So everything would be documented. You'll be having the contract, you'll be having the entire agreement, the terms and conditions would be signed, right? So as such, option number D will not be the correct option. Okay. uh Next. Okay, so So answer would be between option number A and option number C. All right. Okay. See, more than the reputation of the vendor, it's important that you must first understand whether you should be moving to the cloud or not. Option number C, reputation of the vendor will come afterwards. I'll give you one example. I'll try to give you one example, one simple example, not an IT example. Let's say you want to eat some junk food, right? You want to eat some pizza, right? And the first question which you will ask yourself: should I be eating the pizza today? Okay, maybe you are on diet, maybe you are on your fitness goal, maybe you are having your exam very soon and you don't want to go out and eat some bad junk stuff and fell sick. So you are taking care of your health a lot, right? So before even thinking about which restaurant is good or which restaurant is bad, option number C is talking about reputation of the vendor, reputation of the restaurant, the reviews of the restaurant. Before even thinking about the reviews, the first thing which you will decide is whether should I eat from outside or should I eat something healthy, by preparing that food, myself at my house. So that will be a question in your mind, right? So should I be going out or should I eat at my house? That would be a first question. Let's say you got the answer, no, I can eat out. I have been dieting since past 1.5 months, since past 2.5 months. I need to cheat, I need to grab a good meal, okay, good junk food. So if that is decided, then the next question will come: which restaurant? You'll go for the reviews, right? Similarly here also, the first thing which you must understand is what? Whether can you move to the cloud. So that will depend upon what kind of data would be processed by that application, because that application is hosted on the cloud. There you need to comply with the laws and regulation, legal obligations. Okay, let's say you have personally identifiable information and you have some data privacy law in your country, you must comply with that law. Okay, that law will also have a lot of things, right? Where you can host your data, where you can host your applications. So basically what I'm trying to tell you over here is that, first you will understand whether that data can be put on the cloud. It could be sensitive information, banking information, maybe health information of your customers. It could be anything, right? So first thing is what kind of data, the classification and categories of data processed by the application. So option number A will come first, and then option number C, the reputation. So once it's decided, so what if you get to know that you cannot host your data on the cloud. Let's say there is some law which is prohibiting you to go for the cloud option, or maybe in a specific jurisdiction, in a specific uh, country. Okay, for example, okay, I won't take example over here, I don't want to talk about that factor, but anyways, there can be law for that, right? So that you cannot host your application in a specific country, if you are belonging to a specific industry, correct? So if you get the answer no from here itself, will you even go for option number C? Definitely no, right? If this is satisfied option number A, then your next question would be, okay, now law is allowing me, okay, now I'll decide about the reputation of the vendor. All right, so this is the logic, this is the way you need to think. Most of the times people say I am getting stuck between two options. Okay, I'm able to eliminate two wrong options, but all the time I get stuck between two correct options. And the best way to understand, which is the right one, which is the wrong one, is to look at the two options where you're getting confused, and try to link with the question which is asked. You'll definitely get some hint, like the hint which I have just spoken here, okay, with the example which I have given to you about the restaurant part. Okay, so similarly in each and every question there would be some hidden logic, right? So you need to apply that logic and you need to get to the right answer. This is how you need to think in the exam, right? All right, let's go to the next question. Which of the following is the most efficient solution for a multi-location healthcare organization that wants to be able to access patient data wherever patient present themselves for care? Infrastructure as a service, very simple question. Software as a service, network segmentation, dynamic localization. Correct option is option number B. This is a very simple question, right? If you're not able to get the answer for this question, you definitely need to watch the part one where we have discussed about the theory part, right? So it's a clear cut question. Option number B is the answer. Let's look at the next question. Again, this question we have already looked in domain 4, under domain 4, in the context of recovery time and recovery point objective. So this is not a new question and an easy question. We have already looked in under domain 4. An organization relies on an external vendor that uses a cloud-based software as a service model to back up its data. SaaS model to back up its data. Which of the following is the greatest risk to the organization with regards to the data backup and retrieval? Option number A, the organization may be locked into an unfavorable contract with the vendor. Option number B, the vendor may be unable. The question is asking about the greatest risk, right? Backup, data backup, and retrieval, right? So you need to identify the keywords in the questions, right? So greatest risk with regards to the data backup, right? So option number A is unfavorable contract. No. Option number B, the vendor may be unable to restore the critical data. Yes, this can be the answer. Let's look at option number C. The vendor may be unable to restore the data by recovery time objective (RTO) requirements. So option number C is talking it's highlighting mainly on RTO, but when it comes to data backup, it's more of recovery point (RPO) recovery point objective. The organization, option number D, the organization may not be allowed to inspect the vendor's data center. Again, this is not that great concern. We can always rely on the external audit report. So the correct option over here is option number B. The vendor may be unable to restore the critical data. Easy question. Let's look at the next question. An organization is migrating its HR application to an infrastructure as a service model. Very important. This is not a SaaS question. This is IaaS question. Infrastructure as a service, right? Okay, migrating its HR application to IaaS model in a private cloud. Who is primarily responsible for the security configuration of the deployed applications operating system? Deployed applications operating systems security configuration of the operating system. Option number A, the cloud provider external auditor. Option number D, the cloud provider. Option number C, auditor will not be responsible, right? He can never be responsible for that. The cloud provider, the operating system vendor, no, the organization, right? The answer is the organization, because here the question is talking about, first of all, infrastructure as a service, where you will only get the basic infrastructure, right? And you are the organization, it's ultimately responsible for managing all the resources, the security configurations and everything, right? So this question will check your knowledge, whether you understand the difference between IaaS and SaaS, right? And if you understand, you will be able to answer these kind of questions. All right, so let's look at the next question. An IS auditor of a healthcare organization. Hint number one. is reviewing contractual terms and conditions of a third party cloud provider. Third party cloud provider being considered to host patient health information. Hint number two. Okay, when they see, this is how you need to identify the hidden hints in the question. Again, I keep on repeating these things, right? Question is, has already given it two hints. Okay, the focus of this question is on personally identifiable information. A subset of PII is PHI, which is protected health information. You can say PHI is kind of a subset of personally identifiable information, and PHI, we know it is regulated by HIPAA, right? So understand. So you cannot host these informations anywhere, right? So you need to be very careful. And also, the question is talking about, which of the following contractual terms, which term under the contract will be of the greatest risk to the customer organization, which point, which thing in the contract, see, even if we go for this cloud option, which term in the contract will be of the greatest risk to the customer organization, right? Option number A, data ownership is retained by the customer organization. This is not a risk. In fact, data ownership will be retained by the customer organization for sure, right? So this is not the right option. We can eliminate option number A. Option number B, the third party provider reserves the right to access data. The third party provider reserves right to access data to perform certain operation. Oh my God. So here, this is a concerning thing, right? So this is a concerning thing for us, because here we are talking about PHI, right? And the third party provider, they want, like, there is a term under the contract which gives the right to the third party for having the right to access data to perform certain operations. This is very concerning. But let's look at the other options as well. Option number C, bulk data withdrawal mechanisms are undefined. We need to have bulk data withdrawal for sure. See, this will be helpful when you want to migrate your data. So let's say if you want to, in the future, if you want to change the cloud vendor, right, and if you want to migrate from one vendor to another vendor's platform, in that case you need to have these kind of things defined. And it's important, right? It is important to have bulk data withdrawal mechanisms to be defined. But again, it's not a greatest risk when it comes to the PHI, right? Yeah, like, which is being asked in the question. Option number D, the customer organization is responsible for backup, archive, and restore. See, again, here you cannot say it's a risk. See, if this particular option, like, I mean, if this particular service of backup and archive and restoration, when they use this word, they are basically trying to talk about the disaster recovery, right? They are saying the disaster recovery, the data availability will be your responsibility. If the cloud vendor takes this responsibility, it will definitely be convenient for us. But if this is not the case, it is not that concerning with regards to the PHI. So here in this question, the if you understand the question, you can easily get the answer. And this is the beauty of domain 4 and 5 questions, right? Under domain 4 and 5, if you understand the concepts, you will be able to identify the right answers immediately. But this is not the case when we talk about questions from domain 2, domain 1, wherein, even after understanding the topics, at times, we have to think, we have to apply a lot of logics to get to the right answer, especially when you try and solve the questions on IT governance and all those concepts. Okay, so anyways, here the correct answer is option number B. I hope everyone understood these questions. Thanks a lot.